Picture this. You're balancing a clay pot of Greek wine in one hand and a brass vessel of chai in the other. One tastes like debate under olive trees, the other like monsoon-soaked epiphanies. I'm Jacqueline Kyler, and today on The Unveiled Mind, we're tracing the fingerprints of the divine where you can least expect them. Between the cracks of Athenian marble and Varanasi's ghats, what if Socrates and a Hindu sage walked into a tavern? No, really, stay with me now. They'd clink cups over the same revelation, that yourself isn't some lonely island, but a net of stardust stretched across every stranger's ribs. So let's get deliciously lost in Dharma's dance, where the punchline is this: you can't know thyself until you've licked the salt off of someone else's sweat, wept their grief, and tasted their joy like it was your last meal. Ready to unravel the oldest inside joke of history? I often imagine standing at the crossroads of time, where the Ganges River meets the Aegean Sea, two ancient streams of wisdom flowing into one another. Today, we're going to dive into a conversation that might feel paradoxical at first. The fierce individualism of Greek philosophy clashing with the interconnected oneness of Hindu thought. But here's the twist. They're not really clashing at all. Both traditions, separated by thousands of miles, whisper the same urgent truth. To live authentically, we must first learn to see ourselves in others. So let's begin where all great journeys do, with a question. What does it mean to know thyself? As the Delphi oracle demanded, if not to also recognize that the self in the stranger beside you. The Greeks gave us Socrates, who famously declared the unexamined life isn't worth living. But examine how? By staring into a pool of water like Narcissus? No, the examination he meant was a dialogue, a back and forth with others, a friction of minds sparking insight. Now let's leap across continents to the Upanishads, where the sage teaches his wife that love isn't about the other. It's about the self reflected in them. When you love the self and all, that's what is there to grieve? He asked suddenly. Empathy isn't just kindness, it's the highest form of self-awareness. Let's talk about dharma and arati, two words that sound foreign but feel deeply familiar. In Hinduism, dharma is your cosmic duty, the role only you can play in the grand tapestry. The Greeks called this arati, the excellence of becoming who you were meant to be. But the kicker really is neither philosophy lets you off the hook. Your dharma isn't just yours, it's how you harmonize with the world. The arati isn't a solo performance, it's how you uplift the chorus. So think about this. Tell yourself, can you really find yourself without losing yourself in the service of others? Aristotle argued that humans are social animals, wired for community. Meanwhile, the Bhagavad Gita teaches that the wise see the same discipline essence in a scholar, a cow, an elephant, or a dog. At first glance, one seems practical, the other mystical. But peel back the layers and both are saying, isolation is an illusion. Yourself is a verb, not a noun. It's the act of giving, the friction of connection, and the way a river only exists by carving into the earth. Think about it. A lone violin can play Brahms, but it's the orchestra that makes you weep. The Gita's warrior prince Arjuna hesitates because he's trapped in the I, until Krishna drags him into the we. Aristotle polis isn't just politics. It's the sweet and laughter of shared bread. So here's my question. When you wake up tomorrow, will you sharpen your sword alone, or the hand whetstone to someone else first? If you choose the whetstone, tell me whose fingers will brush yours in the dark. We're going to pivot here as the second part of the show because we've been talking about the meaning of life, but what about some of the mystery of it? The moments where reality feels like a poorly written thriller and you're left staring at the evidence like, huh? Take D.B. Cooper. Philosophy asks why we exist. D.B. Cooper asked, why not jump out of a plane with a bag of cash and a parachute while middle fingers blazing behind you? Honestly, respect. When we come back, we're going to dive into the story of Mr. D.B. Cooper, However, we have to thank one of our most amazing sponsors, because guess what, guys? Your kitchen just got a passport to India, my favorite. Hungry for adventure, the Cumin Club brings bold, vibrant flavors of authentic Indian cuisine right to your doorstep, no plane ticket required. Each kit is a culinary treasure chest, fresh, all-natural ingredients, perfectly portioned, ready to transform into a restaurant-quality meal in just 5 minutes. With no preservative, no guesswork, just rich, aromatic curries, fluffy basmati rice, and spice-infused magic that'll make your taste buds dance. The secret handshake? Go to cuminclub.com and enter Jackie at checkout to unlock 30% off your entire order. That's right, 30% off your ticket to butter chicken bliss, paneer perfection, or whatever delicious detour you crave. Ditch the boring dinner and spice it up. The Cumin Club, where every journey is a bite. Now, coming back to this, we have to picture this time it's the 24th of November in 1971, Thanksgiving Eve, and a man in a crisp black suit, dark sunglasses, and a neat tie walks up to the North Orient Airlines counter in Portland. He buys a one-way ticket under the name Dan Cooper. But here's the thing. This guy, he's about to pull off one of the most audacious heights in aviation history, vanish into thin air and become a legend, and nobody saw it coming. We're going to fast forward mid-flight. The man now infamous as D.B. Cooper casually hands a note to the flight attendant. "Miss, you'd better look at that. I have a bomb." No panic, no theatrics, just cold, calculated menace. He demands $200,000 in cash, small unmarked bills, and 4 parachutes. Not 3, not 5, 4. And here's where it gets wild. The airline and the FBI actually comply. The plane landed in Seattle. Cooper exchanges all the passengers for the money. No harm done, but keeps the crew hostage. Then he gives the pilots new orders. Fly south toward Reno, low altitude, slow speed, and keep the rear staircase down. Imagine the tension in that cockpit. The crew's sweating bullets, Cooper's cool as ice, and outside, pitch black night, freezing rain, and jagged wilderness of the Pacific Northwest. Somewhere over the dense forests of Washington or Oregon, Cooper does the unthinkable. He straps the money to his body, secures one of the parachutes, the dummy one, by the way, and leaps into the abyss. Last anyone ever sees of him is a shadow disappearing into the storm. Poof, gone. Now let's talk about the money, because that is where the legend really takes off. The FBI distributed serial numbers for the $200,000 ransom worldwide. Banks were on alert, but nothing. Not a single bill resurfaced except for one tiny tantalizing clue. In 1980, a kid digging on a beach along the Columbia River found 3 bundles of degraded cash. Total, $5,800. Cooper's cash, proof he made it to the ground. But the vest vanished. The parachutes? Oh, this is delicious. Cooper took 4 parachutes, but one was a non-functioning training chute. A dummy. He left the good ones behind. Was that a mistake? A gamble? Or did he know? Some experts think he didn't survive the jump, that the storm, the terrain, or the dummy chute doomed him. Others, they say, he walked away laughing. The FBI chased Cooper for 45 years. They dug up leads, interviewed suspects, even chased down a deathbed confession from a guy named L.D. who claimed he was Cooper. But in 2016, they threw in the towel, officially closed the case. No resolution, no body, just a gaping hole in history where the truth should be. People won't let it go, however. Amateur sleuths still comb the woods where Cooper might have landed. They scan the terrain with drones, dig up old military parachutes, and analyze soil samples. Some think he buried the rest of the money. Others swear he died on impact. But the truth is, of course, still out there. And that's why we're still talking about D.B. Cooper half a century later. Because he didn't just vanish, he left us a puzzle. A real-life heist with no ending. No villain caught, no justice served. Just a man, a parachute, and a bag of cash disappearing into legend. So what do you think happened? Did Cooper survive? Did he spend the money under a new identity? Or is he still out there laughing at us all from the hidden corner of the world? Because until someone finds the body or the rest of that cash, the story isn't over. Not by a long shot. As I begin to think about wrapping up today's episode, I'm just looking at the world at large and where we are, and some common themes both keep coming up, and one of them is communication. And I can say I am probably the world's worst communicator. I'm used to tending everything to myself, not relying on or having other people involved in my existence, and that became very isolating. And now as I'm moving towards involving people into my existence authentically and powerfully, it becomes very telling and trying. And so my question, my encouragement to all of you is thinking about communication, thinking about how you communicate, how you listen. Are you paying attention? Are you checking in or are you checking out? The world is a goddamn mess, and it is very easy to become short-circuited. But this is the time where we unfortunately cannot afford to be short-circuited. We must be on our best, taking care of ourselves, learning skills that we may not have, communication, getting therapy, getting some kind of work on yourself to allow your body to stay into a place that can hear, that can think, that can be. With that, no matter where you are, some primaries are going to be coming up here. I know they are here in Rochester, so they're heating up and getting closer and closer. Whether you are voting for the wonderful Robin Wilt, who was on our show last time, or another progressive person, get your voice out there. Speak. Don't stand out. And remember, every layer of participation in the government is important. It's not just to show up for the presidential. It is about showing up for every single branch. Could you imagine if the amount of people who showed up for presidential elections showed up to the state elections, to the governor's elections, to all of the things that we have the right and ability to vote for? And yet we pull out this wonderful ticket only once in a while. 2 episodes ago, we talked about the Equal Rights Amendment that was birthed out of the suffrage movement, the women's right to vote movement. And so, yeah, they ended up giving women the right to vote, but being equal, ratifying the Equal Rights Amendment, that was too far of a controversial topic, even in the time when women were first getting the rights to vote. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of responsibility. We have to take care of ourselves first, making sure that we're capable of doing the things that we need to. Being honest with yourself, not being delusional. Don't get caught up in some idea of getting out quick or pushing away society. We have to connect. We have to be with one another. Grow, learn, love one another. Back in the day when the gay and lesbian and bisexual community were gaining some high ground, it was about exposing the world to them. And I can remember early 90s conversations about most gay people didn't really, especially in smaller towns, have access to knowledge to other gay people and didn't have any kind of good, bad, or maybe even different understanding or visual seeing of themselves in the world. And that did get better. It's not perfect. It's better. And there's a lot of work, and things are already beginning to not be better. The things that were gained are not promised, unfortunately. And as we move into the area of transgenderedness, I can remember when I started my transition so long ago, I was like, this is going to become a thing. The writing was on the wall. Some of us were starting to get known as trans powerhouses and icons. I included myself in there because I'm working on it. I really am. And so most people have never seen or have an idea of what it means to be trans. And so we're all just learning. And we have to be open to new experiences, open to new lives, and feeling the love deep down inside one another. Do not isolate, connect, do your work, and be a part of the whole. Until next time, stay unveiled, and thank you for your ears, your attention, and your focus on the wonderful dichotomy of Greek and Hindu philosophies to the weird mysteries of Mr. D.B. Cooper jumping out of a plane.